In your semester 1 module, programming is one of the main modules, and also we started few sessions during the physical lectures, but I don't know whether you remember everything. So I thought of revising everything from the start, and we will continue, right? So under programming, as far as first semester is concerned, we have not specified any programming languages, but for our learning purpose, so the implementation purpose, for your batch, we will learn Python, because Python is one of the most used language nowadays. So it's better to learn Python. So especially for the latest developments in the field of information technology, where we heavily use Python for data science, artificial intelligence, like IoT and so on. So this will be a very good beginning for you, right? So, any programming language, it takes a lifetime effort to learn everything fully, right? So we have to cover whatever possible within our allocated time. So in addition to our lectures, it is your responsibility to learn on your own. Then only you can learn, right? If you solely depend on lectures, you will not learn a lot, because programming is like swimming. We have to get into the water in order to learn swimming. Likewise, if you want to learn programming, you should program. That is the only way, right? If you watch the YouTube video, you will not learn. But if you watch it and if you try to code, then you will learn, right? So that's the best way to learn any programming language. So I hope you are doing that, right? So since you are, I think maybe this is a compulsory subject for both software and networking students. So I don't know what is your specialization, but anyway, no matter whether you are a software student or network student, this is compulsory, and also it is essential, right? Without programming, you can't do anything. So having said that, I will just quickly cover some basics about programming, and then we can move to learn Python, right? So before we start, I just want to revise these terms and make sure you clearly understand, right? So if I ask a question, what is program? How can you answer what we mean by program or application? So how can we tell what is a program or application? Any simple definition we can give for program or application? So how can we define program? So basically, program is simply we can tell anyone. Can you try? So simply we can tell a set of instructions, right? Set of instructions, so in a way that the computer or the device can understand. So it is simply, we can tell, program or application. For example, whatever the application, so we have given some instructions to perform any desired task. Even if you take MS Office or MS Word or any other software or application or a program, that's a purpose, right? It has some instructions, so which can be understood by the device, right? So that is a simple definition for program, right? We don't need to know the strictly defined definition, just to make things easy, just to remember. So program is that simple instructions or set of instructions that the device can understand. That is the important thing, right? You can't give any instruction. You have to give instruction in a way that the device can understand. So that process we call programming, right? That process we call programming, right? So giving the instruction, right? Giving the instruction, so it's the process of programming. So just to create the program, right? So then we can execute it, right? So now we'll talk about algorithm. So what is algorithm? So what is algorithm? I want all of you to speak, right? So I just want to continue the class in English because our program is in English medium. So I just want to make sure I follow that, and also ask you to follow that. But remember, language should not be a barrier for the learning. So if you don't understand anything, you can use your own language, no problem, right? And also, if you don't understand anything, feel free to ask, right? So this is, always we talk about algorithm, right? Every time we talk about programming, this term comes, right? So we have to have a very clear-cut understanding about the term algorithm. So can anyone tell what is algorithm in any simple, as per your understanding?
Solve the problem step by step.
Right, solving the problem step by step. So we can tell for simply steps to solve a problem. Is it clear? Steps to solve a problem. Is it clear for everyone? Steps to solve a problem. For example, now we are in, let's say we are in Eastern Province. Now we want to go to Colombo. Now the time is around 10 o'clock. We want to be in Colombo at 12 o'clock. What is the solution? In 2 hours we have to be in Colombo. What's the solution? Parojit, what can be the solution? In 2 hours we want to be in Colombo. What is the solution? Can we think about any solution to solve that problem? So we want to be in Colombo in the next 2 hours. What can be the possible solution? We don't know whether we can solve that issue, but if there is a solution, what can be the solution? How can we go to Colombo in 2 hours? What are the possible solutions available? Anyone can answer. Please answer me, right? Then only I know. Yeah, tell me.
Like
Aeroplane.
Right. We had to hire a flight or helicopter or something like that, right? So in 2 hours, we had to be in Colombo. That's a one solution, right? If I ask the question like that, okay, now today is 12th, right? Now we want to be in Colombo by 15th. July 15th, we want to be in Colombo. What is the possible solutions? What are the possible solutions? There can be several solutions because we have time, right? So we can choose a bus or maybe flight also, and if possible, and train or whatever the hired vehicle or our own vehicle. Then there are so many solutions, right? These steps we call algorithm. For example, in our childhood period, we will ask the people, okay, you write a letter, you sorry. In our childhood, we would tell, okay, think a letter, right? Then we will tell, okay, multiply that letter by 2, then add 10, then deduct 2, and then we will ask the answer, right? Then we will reverse it, right? We will reverse it, and we would tell, this is the number you guessed, right? Or do you remember this game? So in our childhood, we play that. So it's a form of algorithm, right? So let's continue, right? So likewise in programming also, why do we program? Why do we program? The main reason we program to solve a problem, right? To solve a problem. If it can be solved by a programming or any computation, we can solve it. So to solve that, we need algorithm. We need to know the steps. We need to know the steps to solve it, right? That is we call algorithm, right? That is we call algorithm. So for example, if you want to calculate the profit of a business, we need to know how to identify the profit. So we have to get the buying price and we have to get the selling price. From the selling price, if we deduct the buying price, we will get the unit profit. We will get for one product, how much is the profit. Then if we multiply, if we multiply by number of units or number of products, we can get the total. Then it depends, right? So if there are discounts and some other external factors, we have to take them into consideration. So based on that, we have to write the algorithm. So when we learn programming, at the beginning, sometimes it may seem coding is the difficult part. At the beginning stage, you will feel coding is the difficult part. But later, after some time, when you learn coding, you will realize, okay, coding is not the issue. The issue is with the algorithm. To solve a particular problem, what is the algorithm I want to use this? So this is the important thing, right? This is the important thing, right? So algorithm, right? Then what is pseudocode? What is pseudocode? What we can tell? Pseudocode?
It's right.
Pseudocode is kind of a way to write the algorithm, right? It's kind of a way to write the algorithm. It's not a algorithm, it's not a programming language, right? It is just a way we write it. For example, if you take a building, engineer or the architect or the designer will create the house plan, right? So they can create the house plan. So the developer or the mason or someone who build the house will use this as a blueprint or the guide to build the actual house, right? So nowadays we do this using AutoCAD like that, right? So the same way, when we plan the application, the software engineer person or the software architect will do the designing part, right? So for example, hello, okay. So pseudocode is kind of a format we use to write the algorithm, right? For example, we put begin, end, like that input. It's not a programming language, right? num1, num2, then total equal num1 plus num2, then output total. So this is basically, for example, if we want to write a program to add two numbers, so we just before discussed, algorithm means the steps to solve a problem. Algorithm means the steps to solve a problem. So in this example, now we want to write a small program to add two numbers. We want to write a small program to add two numbers. Then what is the steps to solve a number? The steps to solve this problem. If you take the calculator, for example, if you want to add two numbers, what we have to do? We have to input two numbers, then we have to add these two numbers, then it is total, then we have to output the total. This is the steps to solve that particular problem. Is this programming language? Is this programming language? Yes or no? If I copy and put it in any programming language interpreter, will it work? Will it work? No. It won't work, right? It won't work. Why? This is not a programming language. This is just like the blueprint or the idea, right? Then if we clearly understand this idea, then if we know any programming language, I can convert this into programming language for the source code, right? This is not a source code. This is just the idea. So on the other way, the algorithm. So to write algorithm, there are a couple of ways. One is pseudocode. Some people will use flowchart, right? Flowchart. These are some of the ways we write our algorithm, right? So as I told you in the beginning, after learning the coding, algorithm will be the problematic one, not the coding, right? Coding, you can get help from anyone. Only thing you need to know is how to solve that problem. For example, another example, I often use that example, right? I often use that example. So we input two numbers, right? We input one number, right? We input one number and we want to output whether the number is an odd number or even number. What is the idea or the algorithm? What is the algorithm? You don't need to think about coding, right? Just tell me, for example, if I tell 101, if I tell 101 and ask you whether it's a odd number, odd or even, odd train or a train and odd or even, what will be your answer? What will be your answer? Whether the 101 is an odd number or even number?
Odd number.
Odd number. How did you do that? What is the logic behind that, which you use to identify that whether this number is odd number? What is the idea you used? What is the idea you used? Anyone can answer, right? So now I asked 101 whether it's an odd number or even number. Then you have answered odd number. So to identify this 101 as odd number, what is the logic or what is the algorithm you used? So what's the idea behind that? That idea we need to know, then only we can convert that idea into programming, right? So that idea itself we call algorithm. So what's the idea? To identify any number, whether it's an odd number or even number, how we can calculate. So we need to get a solid algorithm idea, then only we can convert that as a programming, right? We can convert that as a program, so that if we input any number, our program will display whether the given number is an odd number or even number. So what's the idea? Any idea?
$10 බෞද්ධම් දිසන්න මීරි බරාඩ්ඩි.
Right. It's a number, right? Right. It's a number. We have to divide that number by 2, right? Then if the number is divided without any remainder, right? Remainder means the balance, right? Remainder means the balance. For example, if you divide 101 by 2, 100 will be divided perfectly and the balance will be 1, right? And the balance will be 1. The balance will be 1. If there is a balance, we can tell that number is an odd number. If there is no balance, if the number is divided perfectly without any balance, we can tell what? That number is a even number. Is it clear, Arham?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So ஒரு நம்பர் மிச்சம் இல்லாம பிரிபடுமா இருந்தா நம்ம ஈவன் நம்பர்னு சொல்லுவோம். ஏன்னா பேலன்ஸ் ஏதாவது வருமா இருந்தா நான் சொல்லுவோம் odd நம்பர்னு சொல்லுவோம். Right. So and also I'm just introducing this one. This is normally we use as a percentage in programming, right? In programming, this is called reminder, right? Reminder. This notation. So 101 divided by 2. Sorry. If you use this symbol, you will get the answer 50.5. In programming, if you use this is not the percentage. When it comes to programming, this is called reminder. If you use that reminder symbol, the output will be 1. It means 100 will be divided perfectly without any balance. The remainder 1 will be the output, right? The remainder 1 will be the output, right? right? And then this is one algorithm. This is one way of solving this problem. Another way, we can pick this last digit. We can pick this last digit. If the last digit is either 1 or 3 or 5 or 7 or 9, what we can tell? The last digit is any of these 1 to 9. We can tell odd number, right? If the last digit is something like this, either of these numbers, we can simply tell that that entire number is a even number, right? Which has less steps. This is method 2. Which algorithm or which idea has less steps? Hello, are you there? Right, so I asked a question, which method has less step? Method 1 or method 2?
Method 2, sir.
Less steps?
Method 2.
Think again, which will take more time? Method 1 or method 2? Because here 1, for example, instead of 1, if it is 9, right? Right. Instead of 9, right? Instead, if it is 9, what will happen? We have to compare with 1 and 3 and 5, 7, 9. Right? So the method 1 is will give a very quick solution, right? Step is less. Is it clear? Is it clear? Varojit, did you answer that? Who said method 2? Method 2 will take more steps, right? M1 will take less steps. Is it? Do you agree with this? Do you agree with this or not? This is basic thing, but it's an important thing, right? Method 1, we have only very less steps. We take a number, divide by 2, and if the remainder is 1, we tell it's an odd number. If there is no remainder, we tell it's an even number. This is the steps for method 1. The method 2, let's say the given number is 108. Now, method 2, we have to take the last digit. First, from the number, we have to get the last digit. Then, we have to check whether the last digit is equal to 1. Last digit 1 இல்லைன்னு சொன்னா நாங்க even numberன்னு முடிவெடுக்கலாமா? இல்ல. Then we have to check whether it is equal to 3. Then we have to check whether it is equal to 5, 7, 9. Even if 8 will not match with this any of these odd number, then what we have to do? We have to again check with these even numbers. Here the case is 8. So we have to write around 10 steps to identify whether this number is even number, right? So when we write algorithm, of course, to solve any problem, there can be several ways, right? Those are multiple algorithms, means alternative algorithms. So from those alternative algorithms, we have to select the most most efficient algorithm. Most efficient algorithm. It means the less cost. Less cost. In programming, we have to find the solution as quickly as possible. If it takes more time, we call it costly. If it takes less time, we call it less cost. So in this example, we have to select method 1, right? It's a very simple thing. I hope you understood that, right? If there's a quicker solution, we have to go for that, right? We have to go for the quicker solution, right? So now what is pseudocode? One of the methods used to write the algorithm. So in this example, if we want to write the algorithm, we can write like this. So begin, we start the algorithm, right? Begin and end, we just put to denote algorithm starts here and here algorithm finishes, right? That's why we put begin and end. Then first what we have to do, we have to input the number, right? We have to get the number. So input number 1, for example. Then what we have to do, that number we have to find the remainder. I can make it R, for example. Remainder equal number 1 divided by remainder by 2. Then we have to compare. If R equal 1, then output what? Output odd. Odd. Else we can tell even. Is it clear? Just a step, right? Just the step. If we don't know the steps, then we won't be able to write it as a program, right? Because நமக்கு manually on எப்படி solve பண்றது தெரிஞ்சா தான் அதை computerize பண்ணலாம். அப்படியா இல்லையா? அப்படிதானே? Do you agree with that idea? நம்ம ஒரு ப்ரோக்ராம் எழுதுறதுக்கு முதல் மெனுவலா அதை எப்படி செய்யறன்னு நமக்கு தெரியாம கோட் எழுதலுமா ஐடியா இல்லாம? Can we write? No, right? இப்போ இது odd number என்ன, even number என்ன, odd number இப்போ 101 odd number even number ஒரு ஆளுக்கு தெரியலன்னு சொன்னா அதை காண்றது, then definitely we cannot expect him to write the program. Because he doesn't have the idea, then he won't be able to convert that idea into programming, right? So this is the idea. This is one way of pseudocode is one way of writing the algorithm, right? So after you learn programming and you think in a programming perspective, for small programs, you won't need writing this pseudocode. Immediately you will get the idea, right? Immediately you will get the idea, right? Now we will come to the most important part, right? So as I told you at the very beginning, today we are revising, right? Today we are revising some things we learned during the physical classes, but after some we were unable to continue. So we are starting back. So I am revising, right? So now let's talk about programming construct. So you know the meaning of construction, right? You know the meaning of construction. So here also it has the same meaning, programming construct. It means you have to understand what components construct any meaningful program, right? For example, if we take a building as an example, right? Building as an example, first we have to find the land, then we have to lay the foundation, then we have to start building the house, then we have to finish the roof and so on, right? These are some of the essential components when we think about constructing a house or any building. Likewise, when it comes to programming, right? When it comes to programming, there are three very essential components. Three essential components. They make up any meaningful programming. So that's why we call that programming construct, right? So now let's discuss those three components one by one, right? So I'm switching to a whiteboard, so it is easy, right? So anyone remember what are the programming constructs? I remember I taught this in class also. I don't know whether you remember or not now. So can you remember what are the programming constructs? There are three main programming constructs. Who remembers? Anyone remember? No problem. If you don't remember, I will revise it. That's why we are discussing that today, right? Number one, sequence, right?
Order the
Sequence. So otherwise, order of execution. Order of execution. So like I told you, when we build a house, there are major components that make up the house. For example, land, the foundation, on the wall, and so on, right? Likewise, if you want to write the algorithm or any programming, there are very essential three components. They make up the programming or the algorithm. So those three components we call as programming construct. Number one is sequence or the order of execution. Sequence or the order of execution. Order of sequence, you know, one followed by another one. That's in a orderly manner. That is we call sequence, right? In a cloth or fabric, there will be some designs or maybe buttons or something. We call it sequence, right? Our people call sequence. So the right term is sequence. So because it's attached in an orderly manner, that's why we call sequence. Likewise, when you write algorithm is what? The steps to solve a problem. If you take a computational problem that we can solve using programming, the algorithm is just the steps how to solve that, right? So whether it's an algorithm or an actual implementation of the algorithm, programming in any programming language, sequence refers to the order of execution. So you have to understand when you write any algorithm, when you go on writing any algorithm, right? When you go and write any algorithm, you have to think top to bottom. You have to think like top to bottom approach. It means, for example, Now you write like this. Let's say print C. A is equal to 10. B is equal to 20. C is equal to A plus B. Is it in an orderly manner? Is it in the orderly manner, correct order? Is it in the orderly manner? Is it in the orderly manner? Is it in an ordered form or not in an ordered form? The first step should be, which should be the first step? This one, right? Then step 2. Then step 3. Why? Because we have to define, okay, A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20. Then we are writing the formula C is equal to A plus B. Then we know, okay, A is 10, B is 20. So A plus B is equal to C. Then C is 30. Now we print C. So the output will be 30, right? Output will be 30. This is in the orderly manner. This is what we call sequence. So here, what the meaning is, when you write any algorithm or when you try to implement that algorithm into any programming languages, you have to think in the sequential order, right? You shouldn't think like this. Your code of writing should be in the order, top to bottom. You have to think top to bottom approach. Even there are some programming languages, it doesn't expect to follow the sequence order. As a good programmer, we have to think in this way. We have to think in this way. For example, to put it in a context, for example, preparing tea, what's the correct step? First we will put the sugar, add the milk powder, mix everything together. Then we will boil the water and make up the milk. Is it correct? Is it correct? Is it correct or wrong? It's not the right way, right? What should be the proper order? Can you remember? Can you think? First, what we have to do, we have to boil the water, right? Then maybe we have to add the sugar, add the tea, in tea powder. If you need milk, you can add the milk and then mix all together and make a cup of tea. Is the order of execution. This is what very important. When you think about algorithm or converting that algorithm into any programming language, the first thing you have to think about the sequence, order of execution. Is it clear? Feel free to ask any doubt, right? I expect you to ask the doubt and to clarify things then and there, so it will be very useful to you and others, right? Is it clear? Safwan, Musharraf, Arham, Varojit. Is it clear? Or you want me to explain again? I have no problem in explaining again. If you need, just let me know. So simply, if you, now we are in Kalmuna, we want to go to Kalambu, right? If we want to follow the proper order, what we can do, we have two choices. From Kalmuna, we can choose the Ampara route, or we can choose the Betty route, right? So from there, if we choose Betty, we have to go to Polonnaruwa, Dambulla, Kurunagala, and Kalambu, like that. And from Ampara, Mahoya, Mahiyangana, Kendi, then Kalambu, like that, right? This is the order. So when you write the algorithm or writing the source code, we have to think in this way, right? That is one important thing. You can't think the other way. First going to Polonnaruwa, then coming back to Betiklo, then going back to Dambulla. That's wrong, right? So the execution should be in the proper order. So when you write code also, because here in programming, without declaring the variable, when the program interpreter works in the top to bottom order, the top to bottom order here, right? So if you output print C and declaring value to A and B here, and C is A plus B, at the when the interpreter executes from top to bottom, right? Top to bottom, in this line, in this particular line, the interpreter does not have any meaning for C, right? In the line there is no meaning for C. Why? We have defined A and other rest of the things at the bottom. So in this point, it doesn't have any meaning for C, right? So the right way should be like this. First step, we are defining A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, and then we add A plus B to C. Now we have a meaning. Now C has a meaning. C is A plus B. So what is A? A is already defined as 10, B is already defined as 20. So adding both together, A plus B, now we get C, right? So now, if this comes as the third step, print C, now C already has a meaning. C is equal to A plus B, and also we have the meaning of A plus B, then ultimately output will be achieved. So this is the order of execution. So when you think any algorithm or any program, we have to consider this one. That's why this is one of the three essential components. So the first one, sequence. So in other term, we can call it order of execution. Is it clear? Is it clear? Can I move to the second one? Shall I move to the second construct? Are you all there following me? Shall I go to the second construct? Shall I go to the second construct?
Okay, sir.
If there is any doubt, feel free to ask, right? Stop me at any time and feel free to ask, right? So I want to continue the class in English just to make sure you also try to develop your English. So that's why I'm trying to continue the class in English. It's good for all of us, right? So if that is the barrier, then feel free to speak in any language and ask, right? No issues, right? So I'm moving to the second construct, right? The second construct is, second important thing here to is selection. Selection. In other term, condition. In other term, condition. So first thing we just talked. What's that? Remember, sequence or the order of execution. Order of execution. So selection or the condition. So you know we have learned if condition, right? So in programming term, we use the if condition for the selection. Selection means is basically, this is the beauty of any program, right? The program can take decision. Program can take decision. It means based on a particular condition, excuse me. So based on a particular condition, we can execute a different portion of a code segment, right? We can execute a different segment of code, right? So when you write any program or the algorithm like sequence, there will be another important component, that is selection. For example, in the case of use case of login, we have to make a decision. We have to make a selection. If the username and password are correct, if they are correct, what we have to do? What's the decision or the selection we have to do? Grant access. Grant access. Else what we have to do? Deny access, right? So deny access. So we are making a selection or we are making a decision, right? This is another important component of any programming or any algorithm. So without this selection, our algorithm or programming will not be complete. So without making a decision or without being able to execute a different segment of code based on a condition is true or false, then programming will be incomplete, right? So there are so many different cases, use cases we can think where we will have to use this selection. For example, giving a discount. So we write a program for a shopping. If the order is above 1,000 rupees, we have to give a 10% discount. So there also we are using a selection, or we are making a programmatically, we are making a decision. If the total bill is above 1,000, we are giving a 10% discount. Otherwise, we will just charge the actual amount, right? For example, if it is 900. So this is the selection. So one famous example when we learn these things in programming, preparing a cup of tea is the most famous example used by many people around the world. Preparing a cup of tea, because using this example we can explain this, all these three: sequence and selection, and also the third one is the repetition or iteration, right? Iteration. So here, preparing a cup of tea, in preparing a cup of tea example, sequence means we boil the water, right? First we boil the water. Okay, let me take a new sheet so it will be easy for me to explain. With that we can wind up today's class, right? So preparing a cup of tea, right? So here, in my understanding, I'm writing this step, right? So first, boil the water, then add tea, add sugar, and then serve, right? For example, right? So first we boil the water and we add tea. Tea means tea powder, right? And we add the sugar and we serve, right? So this is what? Sequence. Now we will come to a decision. We will come to a selection part. So instead of this adding sugar, there are basically two kind of people. Some will need sugar, some won't need sugar. In that case, we have to make a decision. So we can modify this step like this. If needed, add sugar, else don't add. Now this becomes selection. We are making a decision whether to add sugar or don't add sugar. The third part, this is 1 sequence, this is 2 selection, and also there is a third part, right? Third part, repetition or iteration. In programming, there are instances we have to keep on repeating the same task. We have to repeat the same task until a condition is met, or as long as the condition is met. For example, if you take a POS system example, now we go to any supermarket and buy 10 or 20 products. So every time the product is added, it will add the total. It will add up the total. When it should stop? Until we stop, until all the product are added, it will keep on adding the total. So the same thing is being repeated again and again until a condition is met. So that is we call repetition or iteration. So in programming, we know for loop, while loop, do while. These are used for this iteration. So here again, in this add sugar step, I can bring this concept iteration. So keep adding until it feels maybe good or right. So we are bringing this concept here. This is called iteration. So that's it. That is the third step. So first one, sequence. The second step, selection. The third step, iteration. All these three make up the constructs. So if you take any program, any good program or any algorithm, we have to apply these three components as required. So that's why these three are the foundation of any programming or algorithm. So that's why we call these three as programming constructs. So sequence, it simply means the order of execution. So when you write any coding or algorithm, you properly follow the order. Which one to write first, which one to write next, and so on. That's a sequence. You have to consider that order. The second thing is the selection or decision or condition, whatever you can call. So it means then and there we have to make a decision. So when it comes to programming, it is simply based on a condition. We are making different code segments to work. Like I told you, in the case of username login issue, if the password and username are matching with the user input values, then we are giving the access. Otherwise, we are restricting the access. So that is selection. And also, third one is iteration. So then and there, we'll have to make a repetition. Certain task, we have to repeat it, right? So in that case, we have to use this concept called iteration. In programming, we have this for loop, while loop, do while loop, and so on, right? So this is basically the selection. We use if condition or switch and those things, right? So sequence is just a concept where we have to follow the order of execution. So these three make up as programming constructs, right? So I hope it is very clear to you now, right? So based on this concept, we will try to use Python, try to design algorithm, and also we will try to implement any algorithm, right? So today we basically discussed few things, because since we are starting back after some time, I thought of revising all this. So we learned about what is program. Program is basically a set of instructions in a way that the computer can understand. So programming is just the process of doing this program or building the program. And algorithm basically means the steps to solve a problem. So what are the steps to solve a problem? Why it is important? Because if we want to write any program, before that we need to know how to solve that problem, right? So in that case, we use algorithm. So pseudocode, on the other hand, to write algorithm as a standard practice, we use pseudocode or flowchart and so on, right? And then finally, we discussed about programming constructs, right? So what are the main components that make up any programming or algorithm, right? So that's all I discussed today. And from next classes, we can continue. So meantime, I expect your feedback, and also if you have any clarification or suggestions, feel free to tell me now, right? So that's all from me.